You know, sometimes a movie comes around that just blows you away. No pun intended. Whether it's the culmination of your childhood fantasies like in 2012's The Avengers, a heartbreaking love story like in Titanic, or just a bloody well written gritty drama like Fred the Movie.
Somebody call 911!
Well, Matthew Riley's Interceptor is that film for this year, and I honestly can't see any upcoming movies still due to be released in coming months there's any chance of topping this absolute instant classic. I mean, just when you thought 2022 had peaked with releases like Morbius and Moonfall, in comes Interceptor to spoil everything. Oh, in a good way of course. Overrated shite like Top Gun the Maverick and Robert Eggboy's The Northman can't hold a candle to a film where Chris Hemsworth's wife does a one-handed monkey bar assault course in under 20 seconds to save 16 American cities from nuclear annihilation. This movie sure has everything, and in this video I'm going to explain exactly why you may as well save your cash and give up going to the cinema to see any other movie this year, because the best film of 2022 has already arrived, baby. Talk about a film what has everything, from a strong female lead of vocal colour to totally original and inspiring moral messaging such as never stop fighting and
never call a woman by anything other than her name. Don't ever call her darling.
it's also completely fearless. I say that for 3 reasons, so bear with me. Number A, it's not afraid to be horribly cliche. Badass lead character with preposterous plot armour. Literal ticking clock. Walking away from injuries no one could possibly survive, let alone endure for more than 5 seconds without at least losing consciousness. Number B, it's not afraid to subvert expectations. A movie that has the balls to dispense with the typical Hollywood tropes of narrative consistency is a movie that certainly earns my respect. Like when the Asian guy at the start says the tunnel with 2 reinforced doors is the only way in or out of the control room for security reasons, which of course makes complete sense. But then you find out there's totally a hatch at the bottom with ladders and a set of monkey bars, and also a second hatch above what leads up to the roof too. Totally secure, guys. Number C, it's not afraid to be beautifully woke. I mean, white men bad, minorities good? We don't see anywhere near enough of this wonderfully upended trope in Hollywood media, nor ever see the romanticism of toxic white masculine supremacist patriarchy addressed or challenged in today's modern culture. What a reassuringly refreshing film. Speaking of doing something new, I love how this movie is its own original thing, and only briefly pays homage to older classic films we all know and love, but in subtle underplayed winks with the rare playful nudges, and is totally not a straight rip-off of Assault on Precinct 13 or characters like John McClane in Die Hard. Nah, if anything, she's more like Jane McClane in this movie, which is totally not the same thing in any way. Who cares if she's wearing the same sort of vest? It's not like she's bald, is she? And speaking of baldy icons, G.I. Jane McClane has some banging lines with top-notch dialogue such as
Great story, Beaver. In what chapter do you shut the fuck up?
and who could forget this sparkling dialogue such as
I don't think this is what heroes look like.
That's exactly what they look like.
But of course, the most incredible scene comes early in the first act, when a new iconic line is born, where AJ tells Kessel,
But you couldn't plan for me.
even though we find out later in the film that the villain knew of her transfer 3 days before she did. So he did totally prepare for her and learn all about her backstory, and even had time to stick some goons on her dad. Lol. But I really love this Kessel guy. I mean, what a brilliant and unique villain. Finally, an antagonist who simultaneously has no clear motivation and also has a totally cliche motivation, all at the same time. First it was something about getting back at his rich dad, then it was because America is corrupt and had acted pretty shitty in its past and deserved to be nuked into oblivion, to start again somehow. And by the end he seems to have just been motivated by the payday he was offered to stick 2 fingers up to his own country. Man, say what you want about these writers, but they sure keep you guessing. And at the end of the day, scratching your head in baffled confusion is what thrillers are all about. And as I alluded to earlier, It's so great how we as the audience don't have to be subjected to the typical Oscar bait tropes of characters acting consistently throughout a story. My favourite example of this was when the southern caricature racist sexist guy specifically berates his boss for not listening to him and for not taking G.I. Jane McClane out straight away. Yet he does the same exact thing at the end when she's about to stop their plans at the most critical moment. I guess the implication was he wanted to taunt her and gloat or something, but you can still do all that while she lays dead with a bullet in the brain for thrift's sake. Practice what you preach, bro! Another way the movie gloriously subverts the character should always be consistent trope is in the way it makes its antagonist seem very smart and also extremely stupid. The best illustration of this is when the dastardly Kessel is repeatedly said to be a trained psyop and torture specialist, who trained over the course of 6 years for this specific high stakes mission, and also prepared for every eventuality, as the characters even allude to in the first act. Yet he instantly removes G.I. Jane's only incentive to open the door in the form of her kidnapped dad, within moments of introducing said leverage. So let's break this down. In the first sentence he says he is a torture specialist and will take her dad apart, quote, piece by piece. But then like 13 seconds later he just gives up and kills him for some reason, thereby removing his only trump card from the board. So she now has no reason to do what he says. Which again makes no sense because the tactic was clearly working. I could understand if she showed no reaction to chopping off her dad's finger and he just abandoned that ploy, but she was clearly emotionally compromised and in an agitated, desperate state, to where he could have totally manipulated her to have opened the door. So why kill him off after just chopping off a puny finger? Also, if he's such an expert in psychological warfare and has so many backup plans, surely the best way to guarantee getting into the room is to threaten the Asian guy's kids. Especially if, as he says, the psych eval shows he would fold instantly. But Kessel specifically states he didn't even bother putting anyone on his family, as he figured he didn't need to. Well, that's just lazy and reckless, and is exactly what ended up toppling their plans in the long run. Some top drawer specialist you are, matey. Then at the end he implies it was all about the sweet dollars after all. We're told he's an incredibly cunning and smart high-level military ops guy, but he doesn't seem to appreciate that his reward would all be worthless if he carries out his plan. Because America will be practically destroyed and the value of the dollar will be zilch. Or maybe that's the writer's attempt at irony. Wowzers! These writers are geniuses! And by the way, this director is some sort of auteur. The way this geezer played fast and loose with the tone was something else. Like everything is played completely straight. Yet they have scenes where she stabs a guy in the eye with the muzzle of her gun and does a one-armed monkey bar assault course with less than 2 minutes left on the clock. A sequence so preposterous you half expect Dominic Cornetto to soar past in a flying 1970s Dodge Charger and praise her efforts while muttering something about family.
This is your family.
There's always room for family.
Yeah, the tone really is all over the place with this one. The movie also shoehorns in producer Chris Hemsworth in a silly wig because reasons, and the character seems rather disinterested for the gravity of the situation he's witnessing on TV. This woman is single-handedly trying to stop 16 nukes from blowing him up, yet he acts like he's watching the film on Netflix. Wait a minute, maybe this is some sort of meta commentary. Oh, these writers really are geniuses. And finally, I have to mention the gorgeous CGI. This movie takes place on a calm oceanic day with beautiful sunny vistas all around. Good job there weren't a storm raging all around them like there usually is in films like this. These characters sure got lucky with the weather. I mean, look at these pure clear skies. I guess for most of these guys, it really was a good day to die hard. Overall then, this was a literal stunning and brave directorial debut. Apparently this Matthew Riley guy was a self-published novelist, and it totally shows in the way the movie feels paper thin and lacking an editor. But again, that's a good thing. So many movies these days put in actual effort, so it's nice to just sit down in front of the TV and not have to think or care about anything that's going on. It's exactly why I threw out my old Christopher Nolan 5-film collection DVDs what my auntie Bethel got me for Christmas circa 2015. Screw thinking and shit. I don't want to be cerebrally challenged when I sit down to watch a movie. I've been cerebrally challenged for years. No, seriously, just ask my old high school teachers.
Fact check.
That's true.
But man, I'm telling ya, The Interceptor is the real deal. It's easily the best movie of 2022, and lead character JJ Collins joins the pantheon of classic iconic strong female heroes like Ellen Ripley from Aliens, Lara Croft from Tomb Raider, and Rey Skywalker. Oh no, Palpatine. Oh wait, no, actually Skywalker. Out of the Disney Star Wars masterpieces from a few years ago. There's no one else like her, and there's nothing like this movie. Though if you like this film, check out Die Hard, G.I. Jane, and The Contractor. Now if you like it, you press to like it. Wanna subscribe it, you press subscribe it. It's cookie simple,